Democrats. Today is Thursday, January 19th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Life. Happy Thursday. Well, there are two things that everybody in Oklahoma is talking about right now, and that's Senator Pugh's education package and voters registration numbers. So I'm going to hold off in talking about the education package because a press conference is one thing, but actual execution is another. So I'm going to hold off and see how that plays out, in the legislative session, because there are some, what sounds like to me, some Trojan horses. There sounds like, let's just see how it plays out. Now, voters registration numbers. I've been getting calls, texts, emails, Facebook messages about the voters registration numbers. Three things I want to talk about voters registration today. One, it's not too late to request your absentee ballot. I went out and requested mine today. You need to know your social security number or your driver's license number. Go in, request your ballots for the entire rest of the year, because in odd years, there's less participation because people aren't paying as much attention. But if you have a ballot sent to your house, that's a good reminder if it slips your mind because you're out there living life. That's one thing. Second thing I want to talk about is in every odd year in the state of Oklahoma, our state election board does voter purges. How they determine who they're going to purge are people who haven't been participating or people who are registered in multiple places. And then there are the people that, ever since I've been involved, there have been a group of people who don't even know how they've been purged. So here's the thing. A good way for you to know if you're purged is to go out there and request your absentee ballot. Go out to the Oklahoma State Election Board, the OK Voter Portal, Portal, enter your information and make sure that you're registered. That's step one. Step two is go ahead and request your absentee ballots for the rest of the year. There are a couple of options. Request the one for the next election, request specific elections. I always say give them all to me for the whole rest of the year so I don't lose count. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is the state election board released the numbers of voters registration by county, by registration affiliation. And Democrats went from 696,723 to 656,017. So we lost 40,000 registered voters, which sounds like a lot, which is why I guess everybody's all in a panic, but it's really about 5.84%. So we lost some, but we didn't lose this gigantic amount. And here's the scary part. In a year's time, with all the voters registration drives that Democrats, Republicans, and Libertarians were doing, all the registration drives, net, Oklahoma gained 6,712 new voters. That's it, net. We gained 6,712 new voters. And so there's just a lot of rearranging, and that's what happens in an election year. People change their registration so they can affect the outcome of primaries. Now, the number that I'm most concerned with, yes, I am concerned with the numbers for the Democrats, and I'll come back to that. But the number that I'm most concerned with is that 6,712 number. Less, and because we had more people who turned 18 than that. We had more people who seemed like they were more aware of the election than that. But what we have in Oklahoma is voter apathy. That's what we have, because the number of total registered people in Oklahoma is 2.2 million. Just over 1 million people participated in the election on November 8th. So there are all these people who are registered, which, by the way, it's just about half of our population, but only about half of those people, the people who took the time to register, only about half of them actually take the time to then go ahead and cast a vote. What I'm concerned with is less and less people even feel the need to register to vote. There was a net of 0.3% new voters added to our voters rolls in the last 12 months. 0.3%. This is what happens when you have one party rule. People begin to believe that their vote doesn't count. People begin to believe that the outcome is already predicted. This is what happens when you have one party rule that's bolstered by election deniers. I'm here every day to tell you that your vote does count. In a state where not that many people vote, your vote counts more. Your vote doesn't count because you don't cast it. So I am encouraging you, please encourage everybody you know to vote, because in a place where not that many people vote, your vote counts more. There is one seat in Tulsa that everybody's all upset about, one particular school board seat. I'm not going to go into what seat that is, but it was decided with less than 1,000 people showing up for all 4 party affiliations. Less than 1,000 people showed up, and the person who won got something like 300 votes, and they're in that seat. That's a place where your vote matters because you showed up. And sadly, that's where it is all over Oklahoma. Your vote matters if you show up because not that many people are showing up. So, yes, I am disappointed with the decrease in number of Democratic registered voters. I am more dismayed by the fact that not that many people in Oklahoma feel the need to register at all. That's what we have to combat. We've got to figure out a way to get more people involved in the process, no matter what their affiliation. Of course, I want them to be Democrats, but no matter what their affiliation, people in Oklahoma don't feel compelled to participate. Only half of us are registered, and only half of the registered folks actually show up. As I keep saying, and I've been saying this entire year, this is a rebuilding year. We have to remind people what's important, remind people what's being voted on and for, and then encourage them to participate. Remind them that truly, like I know so many legislators who are at the Capitol right now whose races were decided by less than 500 votes, by less than 30 votes, by 7 votes, because every vote counts when not that many people vote. So that's a good news for people to show up, but let's register more folks. But let's be targeted. Let's go where there are people who think like we do. Talk to them about what's important to them and explain to them how their vote can impact that specifically. Voters registration is a big deal, but voters participation is more important. So join me in registering like-minded folks and encouraging them that registration is not enough. Participation is key. Your vote is your voice. All righty. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back here tomorrow at 4:15. You guys have a great one.